This is the Physics and Engineering Semiconductor Cleanroom. It's located near the elevators on the third floor of 14 SCO. It's been a research lab at Macquarie University for at least 25 years and was the home to a successful startup company called Blue Glass that was a pioneer in blue LEDs. Note the placards on the door giving critical information like who is responsible for the lab and who to contact in an emergency. Cleanrooms are special places where the amount of airborne particles or dust is much lower than in everyday environments. This is done by filtering the air and minimizing the inputs of dust. The first way we minimize the input is by keeping the room slightly above atmospheric pressure. The cleanroom pressure can be seen on this gauge and should be about 20 pascals. This positive pressure prevents dirty air from coming in whenever the doors are opened. Fume hoods inside the room extract a lot of air when operating, so a control system has to modulate the fan speed to provide consistent positive pressure. Equipment inside the cleanroom uses vacuum pumps and compressed gas. These are stored outside the cleanroom and are accessed down this corridor. This is the oxygen cylinder. To open or close the cylinders, turn the valve closest to the cylinder, counterclockwise at least one full turn. This dial shows the tank pressure, and this dial shows the output pressure. It needs to be at the mark indicated. We don't touch this dial. It changes the pressure. To close, turn clockwise until the valve seats. You don't need to turn very hard. Further down the hall is the nitrogen cylinder. Again, we open it with the valve on this tank. We see the pressures increase, and the output pressure should be in the red band. We do not touch the blue valve, which adjusts the pressure. At the back of the cleanroom, there's chemical storage, starting with 2 fridges, one explosion-proof, an acids cabinet, and a solvents cabinet. These carry extra chemicals that aren't always needed in the cleanroom, like extra jugs of acetone and 2-propanol. There's also an emergency exit. One of the ways we reduce the introduction of dust is by limiting what we bring in. Leave bags and jackets outside the room and only bring in what's necessary. Materials that produce dust, like cardboard boxes, should be left out. Paper logbooks are necessary though, and we can dust these when we bring them in, and we'll leave them on a special table. On the days that you use the cleanroom, you should wear clean shoes, not boots. It can be impossible to put the cleanroom garments over large boots. This is the gowning room. It's separated from the main room by a door. Avoid opening both doors at once, as this will cause a lot of our air to escape. The lights in our cleanroom are yellow. This is because many of the chemicals we use are quite sensitive to UV and blue lights. When you take out the blue and the UV, you end up with light that looks yellow. Don't worry, you'll get used to it after a while. Note the location of the first aid kit and a fire blanket. Users should fill out the logbook on entry and exit. Phones, laptops, logbooks, anything you need to bring into the cleanroom should be dusted down with a cleanroom wipe and a spray bottle containing 10% isopropyl alcohol. To gown up, we start at the top. We start with a hairnet, making sure that all long hair is tied up. If you've got facial hair or are working on a project that is particularly dust sensitive, you should wear one of these cleanroom masks. Gowns are obtained from the Faculty of Science store on the ground floor. Regular users use a labeled hanger or label their gowns so they can reuse them. After a number of wears, or if you feel it's ready, you can take it down and have it laundered and pick up a new one. Next come the boots. These can be tricky to put on, but once you get used to it, they're not too hard. The key thing is to put your heel at the back of the cup. We don't step on the near side with cleanroom shoes, and we don't step on the far side with street shoes. Cleanroom gloves can be obtained from the shelf. We've got small to extra large. Try to put the long cuff over your cleanroom garment sleeves. You must wear cleanroom gloves to enter the cleanroom. One last check before you head in. Now that we're inside the cleanroom, let me briefly introduce you to the equipment. This table is where we put papers and logbooks, phones and laptops. In this corner, we have a thin film measurement device that you can't see, a microscope, an oven, a plasma etcher, a direct write lithography system, a fume hood containing spinners and hot plates, which you can't see. Behind that is a vacuum oven, a lithography system, a scale, a 3D printer, a fire extinguisher, panels of switches to control pumps outside, the emergency exit, a shower, emergency shower, water filtration system, another large fume hood, a thermal evaporator, and a physical thickness profiler. To exit the cleanroom, think to make sure that you've turned off all necessary equipment. We go in the opposite order, starting from the bottom and working our way up. Boots or gloves first, stepping over the bench as we go. The gown or smock next. Gloves, hairnet, and face cover can be put in the bin, or if they've been lightly used, can be stowed with your gown for another use. I tuck them into my cuff, and I'll hang my glasses on my gown as well, but that's because it's named. Lastly, we fill out the logbook and turn out the lights, making sure we close the door properly behind us. If your gown needs to be laundered, take it to the blue locker at the science store. There is a laundry return slot. If you're the last person out, remember to turn off the gases at the cylinders.